The one thing I would say is that, and I think this came through very clearly for me in working on the book. Um, yes, argument is good. Jews have always argued. There's the old jokes of two Jews and three synagogues. There's nothing new here. And some of these rifts go back to pre-state times. There's nothing new there either. But I think, one of the things that came through for me is that while it's fine to argue and everybody gets to express themselves and shout and vote for their own little boutique parties, etc., nothing ever actually gets dealt with. These very fundamental problems at the core of these divisions, they're festering for decades in some cases and generations. And, they never seem to be resolved or dealt with. And while you would think with generational change that some of these rifts would kind of fade, um, some do, and some kind of morph into something else and become even more acute as people look back and feel that, they got screwed. It's a fascinating debate. I mean, I've seen and heard some of it, and it's really intriguing, um, where, maybe these, ideological and social and geographical divisions actually become, hard borders. I mean, but it's a crazy idea in a way when you have a tiny country that you can drive from top to bottom in 6 hours. I mean, it's often compared to being the size of New Jersey. So, it's already a small place. Once you start cantonizing it, I mean, yes, you'd have a very wealthy, prosperous, liberal, modern coastal plain, and then a kind of, failed state beside it of a Haredi enclave that can't manage to sustain itself. That Israel is affected by those trends abroad in a much broader context around the world, and you see populist politics creeping in. It's not like it was invented here, you know. I think it's definitely affected and influenced by what's going on elsewhere. And yes, there are very different kinds of democracy. Um, but I think there is a uniqueness here. Um, First of all, when you examine the Israeli system and the fact that 75 years on, we don't have a constitution and we don't have two houses and we don't have, practically any other, well, we don't have any other check or balance other than the Supreme Court, and the uniqueness that, when you read the book, you just see from the history of pre-state on, this is a very unique society. It's come from a unique place. It has a unique history. It has a unique makeup. It is struggling with unique social, economic, security challenges all the time. And when you put these two things together, the trends from coming in from abroad plus Israel's unique challenges, I think you have a perfect storm.